In this video, we're going to take a look at a project to convert a pub in the Midlands into a 13-room HMO. This is a project put forward by Bobby Grewal, and he pitched for finance on the Property Elevator Show. Property Elevator Show is a program that appears on Sky Channel 192, where budding developers and property entrepreneurs can pitch for financing to 5 property angels. The angels that feature on the show are John Howard, Helen Chorley, Paul Mahoney, Nicholas Wallwork, and myself, Ranjan Bhattacharya. In this video, we're going to play for you the pitch as it was shown on TV, and I'm going to kind of freeze the frame every now and then to give you some background commentary and analysis. This video is an essential watch if you are looking for some tips and tricks to pitch for funding for your next property deal. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon. We put out new content each and every week, and it's all dedicated to helping you be more successful in property. So let's get cracking. I'll hand you over now to Elizabeth Warburton, the show's presenter, who does a kind of pre-pitch interview with the entrepreneur, Bobby Grewal.
Okay, Bobby, welcome to Property Elevator. It's lovely having you.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your background?
I'm based in Birmingham in the Midlands,
Okay.
and I've already got a portfolio of HMO properties. And that's what I do mainly, so buy to let and HMO.
Okay, so they're kind of your main 2 strategies.
That's my main 2 strategies, yeah. So I've been
Great.
a full-time teacher for 15 years,
Okay.
but I've been building up the property alongside. But only this year I've left,
And gone
so
full-time?
I'm gone full-time in looking
Wow.
after my portfolio pretty much. The deal today is it's actually a pub. It's a pub based in the Midlands.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the market currently. There's only half a building really, so it's a bit of a development project.
Right.
But it's also got planning permission for 13 bedrooms,
Excellent.
so HMO type thing. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to step out of the HMO in terms of houses and trying to move into probably a bit more commercial, residential type setup.
Excellent. And what numbers are you looking at from the angel?
All the money really, all the money if possible.
As much as I can get.
As much as I can get, yeah, so all the money. So we're looking at probably 300,000 is roughly the purchase price, and about 300,000 to develop.
Brilliant.
So 600,000 in total.
Good. Great.
So
All right.
see if they give it me.
Well, best of luck.
Thank you.
Bobby's coming in to see us, and he is purchasing a pub to convert into an HMO. It looks like it's a bit of a challenge.
What's left of the pub?
Or what's left of the pub. So shall we get him in and see what he has to say?
My name's Bobby. I live in Birmingham, live and invest in Birmingham, have done for a number of years. I've got a small property portfolio at the moment of mainly HMOs, but I've also been a full-time teacher at the same time. So for 15 years I've taught in secondary schools in the Midlands, but this year was my year to step out. Knowing what I know now with COVID, maybe weren't the best idea, but it's done and I'm out. The deal that I'm looking for investment for today is a pub based in the Midlands. Because most of my stuff is mainly HMO, and I tend to buy stuff with the traditional buy it with my own money and then turn it into a HMO and then rent it out. This is new for me, so I've not done anything commercial, and it's actually one of Ranjan's YouTube videos, and we've had a bit of emails
Not
backwards
that
and forwards.
Ranjan again. I'll tell you
Yeah,
what, if we hear about his YouTube anymore,
It was actually
we're
only the
all
last
gonna
3
walk out.
months. It's actually one of those videos it's one of the ones I did with Simon Zushi and the commercial stuff.
Obviously a guy with excellent taste, and so if you want to learn more about commercial conversions and all of that, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon, because there's plenty more coming up like that on this channel. I like the guy already. Let's hear more of his pitch.
So
Did that inspire you?
It
That's
actually,
amazing.
yeah,
Look,
believe it
fancy
or not,
that.
it did. It inspired me in the sense that actually commercial, in the space that it's in at the minute, with the planning laws
Yes.
changing and being so
Absolutely.
slightly laxed, this seemed a bit more. So I've been looking. So post video, I was just looking at more options like this, and I'm getting a lot of them coming my way. So this is one that I was interested in. The purchase price for this is currently under offer, but the agent have told me that a purchase price of £325,000 would secure it. One conservative builder estimates about £300,000 to get it up and running, and then post that we're looking at about £82,000 sort of net rental income.
Now, an interesting thing about these particular deals are, in some areas of the country, the building cost is actually quite high in proportion to the actual property purchase cost. In this case, the build out is actually pretty much the same as the cost of purchasing the property. Now, when you find that the cost of the build out is very, very high in proportion to the cost of the property itself, that's when the building part of the project really takes on quite a different risk profile. In the south of England, you typically find it's the other way round. You tend to find that the property cost is rather high in proportion to the building cost. So the building cost element of the project, in terms of getting that absolutely right, is a little less risky as it is in these sort of areas.
With a net profit of about £40,000, monthly net income about £4,000 a month. On the sheet that I've given you, it's £3,500, but that's because I've included voids and repairs.
Very sensible. Okay.
But I think once it's fully let, it'll be £4,200 net profit per month.
Sensible figures in terms of rental calculations there. So the idea here is basically to keep this property on as an HMO investment. Very shrewd in not doing his figures based on full occupancy there.
325,000 for the relatively rundown pub.
Yeah.
We were just commenting there hasn't been a pint sunk in there for a while.
I think, well, what's happened is...
there was a keg of beer there.
There was some kegs of beer, yeah. And
You get that free beer with it.
I'm thinking you do, yeah.
I'm in.
It's fairly run down. And what's happened is in the last 3 years, so I've been watching the pub for a while, but not really thinking about it as a project. A pub has opened up across the road, and that's become a proper pub. The change of use, I'm hoping with the planning laws, we could use the commercial space downstairs for something else.
Now, the thing about this pub conversion project, to call it a pub conversion project is a bit of a stretch, meaning you can't really see from the pictures here, but there's no roof on the thing, and it's a half-completed project. Someone's had a go at doing some works on this project, but it's completely exposed to the elements and open. So it's not exactly a watertight shell from which you can do a conversion.
And probably not wise to use a pub when now there's an established pub across the road.
So you said it's under offer, the 325 would secure it. Would it be subject to planning?
No, it's already got planning permission
sorry,
approved.
It's got the planning.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
good.
got planning approved for 13 bedrooms.
And you know the area, the rents?
I know the area, yeah, pretty well.
Yeah, okay, so the rents stack up, that's
The rents, I think they're conservative because they've got en suites all built in as well into the rooms, into the plans. I think 450 is a good price, but I think we'll probably be able to push for £500 per room for the double rooms.
And the costs of the refurb, where have they come from?
The builder that come and looked at it, and he said that we're looking approximately around the £300,000 mark. But because I've never done anything of this size, I'm just thinking, well, you know, I probably should have got a few more quotes, and that's something I can go back and do definitely.
With this project, I think the key here is that it's got planning permission for 13-room HMO. That is a plus point. And Bobby knows his market because he has an HMO portfolio in the area. He knows what's rentable and he knows what rents are achievable. The big unknown, of course, is those refurbishment costs. And it's not quite refurbishment, as I said before. It's near complete build out. And there is doubts emerging among some of the angels here about the actual true costs of carrying out such a major build out.
You made a start, Bobby, and you've got to start somewhere. And I think that's fine. You know, you've got a guesstimate, if you like,
Yeah,
and then if it looks like it works on the guesstimate, then what I normally do is then I then drill down further.
What's the story behind this? I mean, the previous owner started the project and has not finished.
I think it's changed a few hands, and I think people are starting the project and they just can't afford to finish it. I think this project, only because I was looking at the council documents, I think he actually carries the same surname as me, but I've no idea of who the guy is. But yeah, I think he's bought the pub. He's literally just got the planning permission. It was granted on the 13th of July, just gone. He originally put it in for 14 bedroom, and that was rejected. And they said, look, we want it to be 13 bedrooms. We want you to introduce another communal space on the middle floor. I think we could probably get another 4 bedrooms out of it. But that's all maybe in the pipeline.
Exactly.
That's a potential. But
that's just a bonus, isn't it?
I think
it's changed hands because everyone who buys it realises it's going to cost an awful lot more to do,
Yeah.
and it won't make any money, and that's why they leave it.
Yeah, or they haven't got the money to do it, yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah.
And you can always finance development work. If you own the site, you can finance 100% of the development cost. So I'm not sure that that's 100% correct, unless they're highly unfinanceable. I think, from my experience, 14 beds, it's 300 grand with a site that's that derelict. It's almost derelict. I mean, the roof is off, the walls are off.
The walls are off.
The internal shots, you're down to ground level.
Yes.
So you need to underpin those walls, screed floors. I mean, this is serious amount of work for the size of the property. My gut feeling would be that that's really light on the conversion work.
That would be my intuitive feel as well. We've got a good look at the pictures there. It's certainly a big job, and somebody has started it. Like, you've got the guide, and I agree with John, you have to go away and get kind of a couple of other builder quotes as well. But what you also need to remember is, and be wary of, is if they price for the job and then all the kind of the additionals get stacked on later.
Yeah.
What you also, which you probably, I don't know, maybe you have, maybe you haven't got in there, is a contingency, because I'd want a hell of a contingency on that.
Yeah, you've done the right thing so far, but there's an awful lot more analysis needed on the build costs.
There's a little bit of Captain Cautious going on here on my right-hand side. I have to say, Bobby, I personally, the one thing I would say is when a property has been exposed to the elements like that, even though some of the work has been done, there's some new joists in there and so on, you have to be wary that some of the work that's been done may have to come out because it's deteriorated because of the weather it's got to it. I personally think it's a very ambitious scheme for someone who, as by your own admission, you've been pretty steady and safe up to now. You're a school teacher, with all due respect, very intelligent. So you've probably been on the safer side of life rather than the
residential sides, yeah.
Residential, yeah.
I've done loads. I've done refurbs and stuff.
Yeah,
This is a different league.
This is a really big step up, and someone with my experience would be looking at that and thinking, I need to be on my A game for this, and I think personally I would be looking for a slightly less ambitious scheme to do as your next step up. I think you've gone from, out of 10, you've gone from being at 4 out of 10 speed-wise to probably 9.
This is a distressed asset, and I don't see it as a distressed price, and that should be sort of factored in majorly. The other thing is, I always like to get behind the story, particularly if it's a half-done project, and to find out exactly the reasons why it's changed hands so many times. If you're going to take on a project for learning or whatever, make it be something that is worthwhile and really packs a punch and gives you something over and above what just buying 3 or 4 houses to get the same number of rooms added to the portfolio.
That's a very shrewd comment by the guy in the yellow tie. The thing with this project is there's a huge amount of risk. I mean, the comments were that it's derelict. Well, it's derelict. It's basically like Stonehenge. It's like converting Stonehenge into sort of residential use. There's just nothing there, quite frankly. And 13 rooms, £300,000, even if this building was watertight, it was a watertight shell, it will pretty much cost you that to do that sort of conversion into 13 rooms. And here you got to do roof and everything, flooring, everything from scratch. And the other thing is where Bobby is coming from, really. He is an accomplished HMO investor. Now, in order to get 13 more rooms on his portfolio, he'll have a lot less risk and a lot more profitability by simply adding on a few extra normal houses to his portfolio. Because the big element of risk here is the unknown of that refurbishment. It's not refurbishment, it's a complete build-out cost. And ultimately, I mean, what Nicholas said was perfectly true. It's very easy. If the GDVs, the gross development values, are there, and that means basically what is the property worth at the end of the day once you've done all the development? If that is actually there, and the costs of getting there or doing the build out actually leaves a profit, then there is usually no problem in funding the development works. So why has buyer after buyer, developer after developer walked away from this project? The reason why is that there are projects which are simply uneconomic to build out and complete.
I think it'd also be interesting to try to find out what the previous owner paid for it prior to planning, because you don't really want to be on the back end of his uplift.
Yeah.
And if the guys are right, he's got this planning, tried to do it and walked away because...
You can see John Howard rolling his eyes and adjusting his tie for an intervention here. Let's see what he says.
It's not viable, then you're the loser in that game.
Bobby, I wouldn't agree with that entirely, and I'll tell you why. Because in 1990, I bought 360 flats in West Brom. 280 of them had been bought 6 months earlier off Sandwell District Council for 75,000 each, the block. And I gave the guy 1.55 million for those 2 blocks 6 months later. Best deal he's ever done, and one of the best deals I've ever done. So never worry about what someone's paid for a property. It's irrelevant. If you're confident about what you can do with that property, good luck to them if they've got there before you, and so on.
Fully agree with John's advice there. I've never given a stuff or 2 hoots what the previous guy has paid for the property. What it's about is, what do you plan to do with it? What's your plan for the uplift? That's what you should focus on. That's what you can control.
But for me, this one's a bit too ambitious. However, I would like to keep in touch with you because I do deals in the West Bromwich area and the Birmingham area, and I think we can do something together going forward.
There's lots of stuff coming my way at the minute, so I'd definitely love to keep in touch.
Yeah, no doubt. We will. Don't you worry about that.
Just one thing on that though, I think you always, certainly when things come across my desk, I always have to ask, why me? Why is it coming to me? Because if it's been past Paul's, Ranjan's, John's, Nicholas's desk, and then it ends at mine, I'm probably not interested. So just have a little bit of, yes, we are the Captain Cautious kind of side here, but just have a little bit of, why has it come to you?
But also,
I'm not sure I fully agree with that either, but, you know, there just could be a possibility that I've missed a trick. You know, we don't always spot every opportunity and angle and whatever, but I like to look at every deal with a complete fresh pair of eyes.
Also, I suppose with the new planning changes, I don't quite know with some of these buildings what I would be able to do with them, and I don't think anyone really knows what they can do with them.
I think you're right.
And that's where I'm trying to get first in and just try and make those moves, because people...
Listen, you're very investable. You're bright, you're intelligent, you're decent, and you're investable, and that's really important.
And like this is ticking this spreadsheet with the numbers, with
Oh,
the
she'll love
breakdowns.
that.
I mean, that's ticking all my boxes.
Helen will love
your
that.
return on GDV, return on cost, that's all nice if those numbers are
correct.
those numbers, and that's where the risk is.
You saw a lot of nodding heads there among the angels, because I think when we are looking to invest our hard-earned cash into people's development projects, what we are looking for are entrepreneurs who are investable. The other thing I'll say, and Helen's pointed this out as well, he gave us one single sheet of paper with all the numbers of the deal clearly presented, so we can actually understand what we would be getting involved in. It's just a little bit unfortunate that maybe the deal had a bit too many moving parts and elements of risk, but let's see whether any of these guys were up to the challenge of investing in this project.
It's for me, so it's not for me, but great work, and with John, you're very investable. Keep going.
Thank you very much.
Nicholas?
I think it's too risky. I think it's too much work. I think it's probably not going to be viable. But as echo what the guys have said, you're highly investable.
Thank you.
If you'd brought a pub that didn't need all those external works, it was just reconfiguration and fire regulations to get it to the right HMO status, I'd have been very interested. So it's not the deal. You would be. So good luck for the future, and stay in touch with us and see what we can do in the future.
So Nicholas and Helen are out. Let's see who else is willing to give this a punt.
Ranjan?
Again, it's same for me. It's not for me, but I'd just like to keep in touch and all the rest of it. But
He's keeping in touch with me, Ranjan.
Well,
not
you. The comment I would like to kind of make, do bear in mind what I said earlier about I'm not convinced that this is priced at a distressed asset rate. So under the new rules that are coming out, there's limited value, there's a limited premium to something that has that sort of permission, which you're paying for now.
Yes.
That is very,
so
very
just
good.
bear that in mind as well.
Look.
Actually, that's a good point. I forgot I even said that. What he's done is, he has basically secured this property, which has planning permission for a 13-room HMO. And normally when you secure planning permission for a site, that, of course, attracts a premium. What I'm saying here is that there are whole-scale reforms to the planning system, and which are coming out sort of very, very shortly and have come out over the summer period as well. And that means more and more types of buildings will be easily repurposable to alternative uses under permitted development. So any premium attached to having a planning permission in the bag is going to go away very, very soon. And I still am very, very concerned about the actual purchase price value of this. I mean, you're looking at something which is, as I said before, basically Stonehenge, and it should be at a far more discounted value than the price that he's looking to pay.
Look, I think similar to the other guys, I like Birmingham. I've just bought a few properties in Birmingham. Our clients have bought a few hundred over the past year or so. I'd like to keep in touch, maybe something slightly more central to the city in Birmingham. I'd be really interested.
With John and I.
I've told you, he's only keeping in touch with me.
And I think I could add value to you there, certainly from a marketing, sales and layout perspective.
Thank you. Yeah, great
so
help.
keep in touch, but again, I don't think this particular deal.
No, that's fine.
Bobby, thank you very much for making the
Thank
effort
you,
to come
John.
today, and I'm sure we'll be doing business in the future.
Thank you.
So that wasn't a deal for any of us in the room, but comment below if you liked Paul Mahoney's socks.
Okay, so Bobby, unfortunately, we didn't get a deal.
No, not today.
What
Not today.
happened? What did they say?
I think it was a bit too ambitious. I think they're looking at the building, and because it's a derelict building effectively. I think they thought that it'd be too risky for them. But they've also said that to keep their numbers and to keep their cards, and they certainly want to keep in contact with any future deals that come through, which is great news for me.
Brilliant. That's really positive.
Yeah, great news.
What do you feel now about the deal? Are you going to still consider it?
I think I'm going to try and get the deal at a lower price.
Okay.
Because I think that's what they were saying. They were saying it's not derelict value. It's kind of a good value because they've got planning permission.
Okay, so
So-
go back, work on your numbers, and
Definitely.
then
Well, just
go
put
from
an
there.
offer in and see what happens. Yeah.
Bobby, if you're watching this, you're a fantastic entrepreneur because you went in there, you pitched your deal, and you listened. You listened to the advice that all 5 of us were giving you, and you took that all on board. And the way you kind of summarized it there with Elizabeth at the end was absolutely superb. Make sure you give me a call first when you find your next project. So you've just seen a pitch from the Property Elevator show, which was broadcast on Sky Channel 192, Series 2 of Property Elevator. If you want to pitch or appear on Series 3 of the show, then I'll put a link in the description. Click on that link, register your interest, and as soon as we're ready to film Series 3, I'll let you know how to get involved. Let us know what you think of this pub conversion deal. Would you have gone ahead and invested in it? Let us know in the comments below. So every week we'll be putting out one of these pitches from Series 2 of Property Elevator, which was first shown on Sky Channel 192. To make sure you don't miss out on one of these pitches where you can learn how really to pitch for funding for your next property deal, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out as soon as we upload. And also binge watch this playlist because you can see all the pitches from Series 2 of Property Elevator. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon and all of that. Make sure you like this video. YouTube loves that. And see you guys in the next video.